Hello, my name is Carrie Legal. I'm one of the Autism Low and Sins mentor teachers for Richmond Public Schools. I'm here today to do another lesson with you all. The lesson is from the Unique Learning System program, and it is lesson number 23, activity 1, and we will be doing telling time and finding the clock. And from my previous lesson, from lesson number 1, we talked about what does Paris hear in this story. And this activity is going to be about different times that Paris wakes up in the morning and does different things throughout the day and different sounds that she may hear. So first, I just want to quickly review the story about Paris and what does Paris hear, like we did the other day. And this is lesson number 1 from the Unique Learning System program. So this story was about Paris. And in the morning, she was sleeping and it was very quiet. I'm just going to quickly go through this. And then she hears some sounds with her ear. So she woke up. She heard a tap, tap, tap on the door. That could have been her mom, possibly. And then she heard a louder noise of a knock, knock, knock on the door. Oh, she heard the drip, drip, drip from the faucet, which was quiet. Shh. Then do you remember she heard the swoosh, swoosh, the loud noise from the faucet when the water came out faster. Then she went outside and she heard the zzz from a bee that was far away by a plant, by some flowers in a pot. But then the bee got closer and the zzz sound was loud. Oh, then she started to play her drums. And she banged the drums lightly, ting, 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 so it was a quiet sound. And then she banged on those drums, and it was a loud noise. So in the story, Paris heard lots of noises. They were quiet, shh, and loud. And that was the end of our story. But today in our lesson, we're going to talk about time. And you can tell time on 2 different types of clocks. And Paris was able to do things throughout her day, and we are going to find out different sounds that she heard throughout her day at different times of the day. So the first clock we're going to talk about is an analog clock. It's a circle. It can be a circle, it can be a square, it can be many different shapes, but it has the numbers on it. Excuse me. And then you can make the hands move. So that says 9 o'clock. Or 9:30. If you don't have one of these in your house, you can also make it out of a paper plate. So you take a paper plate and you can write the numbers on it starting here, and you can write the number 12. I'll show you. Put the number 12 at the top there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you can write your numbers in, or I have one made like this. Okay? So if you have a paper plate and want to make a clock like this, go ahead and do it with who's at home with you. And then on a clock, you see these hands. There's two different hands, the short hand and the long hand. You can take a piece of paper like this and make an arrow on it. To make a short hand and a long hand. And then you can cut it out and make them look like this. And I just stuck some tape on the back of them so I can tape them onto my clock. Let me show you. I will make 3 o'clock. Here we go. So see, that's making a clock. The other clock we're going to talk about, oh sorry, that makes 3 o'clock. A clock is when it's up at the 12. Okay. The other clock we're going to talk about is an analog clock. And here's a picture of one with no numbers on it. But here is an analog clock from my house that has the numbers on it. And so we can put numbers on them like this to make it say different times. And I'm going to make it say 11 o'clock. And there's an example of a digital clock. So this is a digital clock. A digital clock has the numbers on the front of it, like so. And an analog clock has the numbers all around it with the hands on it. So these are the two different clocks that we're going to talk about today when Paris hears different things. So Paris woke up really early in the morning, and the morning is called the AM time. And then after lunchtime and when it's nighttime, it's called PM, when the sun goes down. So the morning is AM and the afternoon is PM. The AM is when the sun comes up and the PM is when the sun goes down. Who can point to AM? If you pointed to this one, you're right. That's the morning. AM is the morning and PM is the nighttime. All right, let's get to see what Paris is up to. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. All right. So at 7 o'clock a.m. in the morning when she woke up, Paris listens for sounds in the quiet house. All right. So who can find the clock that says 7 o'clock? And I will show you a picture of it so you can match it if you need to match it. And we will do the digital clock. 7 o'clock. Point to the clock that says 7 o'clock. And this is 7 o'clock in the morning. If you pointed here, you are right.
7 o'clock a.m.
All right. Then at 8:30, Paris gets out of bed. She hears a knock, knock, knock on her door. All right. So who can find the clock that says 8:30? I'm going to make it on my digital clock. 8:30. Here it is. There's 8:30. Who can find that clock and point to it? If you pointed here, you are correct.
8:30 a.m.
And that is 8:30 a.m. and that is the morning. So in the morning at 7 o'clock, Paris listens for sounds in her quiet house. Shh. Then at 8:30, she gets out of bed and hears a knock, knock, knock. All right, let's see what else she does during the day. All right. At
At
9 o'clock, Paris washes her face. She hears the water running, the swoosh, swoosh of the loud water running. So at 9 o'clock, who can find the 9 o'clock picture? And we'll keep doing it with the digital clock. All right. So I'm going to make 9 o'clock on here. If you can point to the 9 o'clock, point to it now. But if you want to match it, here's what 9 o'clock looks like on a digital clock. Okay, so at 9 o'clock, Paris washes her face. She hears the water running. Point to the 9 o'clock on the screen. If you pointed here, you are correct.
9 o'clock a.m.
9 o'clock a.m. So that's 9 o'clock in the morning. All right. So let's see. At 11 o'clock, Paris makes her lunch. She hears the microwave ding. Oh, that's a new sound in Paris's house that we haven't heard about. So the microwave goes ding, ding at 11 o'clock. If you can find the 11 o'clock clock, the clock that says 11 o'clock on it, point to it, and I will show you on my clock. All right. That is 11 o'clock. Who can match the 11 o'clock clocks together? Point to it. If you pointed to 11 o'clock right here,
11 o'clock a.m.
you are correct. So at 9 o'clock, she washes her face with the running water, with the loud, loud running water saying swoosh, swoosh. And at 11 o'clock, she makes her lunch in the microwave that says ding, ding. And that's a new sound for us in Paris's house. All right, let's see. Paris does some other things. She went outside and takes a walk. She hears a dog barking. Let's see what time she does that. All right, so at 3 o'clock, and this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so that means in the PM time because it's after 12 o'clock. Paris takes a walk and she hears a dog barking. Who can find the clock that says 3 o'clock? Point to it. All right. If you want to match, here's the 3 o'clock on the digital clock. Point to it. If you pointed to the 3, you are correct.
3 o'clock p.m.
And here's the PM, meaning it's in the afternoon, and later the sun's going to start to go down and it'll become nighttime. All right. So at 4 o'clock, Paris turns on the radio. She listens to music. All right, let me show you what 4 o'clock looks like on my digital clock. There's 4 o'clock. If you can find the picture that looks like this, point to it. Also, on an analog clock, this is what 4 o'clock looks like. So here's both of them. Okay? If you pointed to here, you are correct.
4 o'clock p.m.
And it's in the afternoon, which is p.m. All right. So at 3 o'clock, Paris takes a walk. She hears a dog barking. And at 4 o'clock, Paris turns on the radio to listen to some music. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. And I'm so excited that we got to talk about digital clocks and analog clocks. I know that we've talked about digital clocks more than analog clocks, but I can also show you the times. So this is 4 o'clock on a digital and an analog clock. This is 3 o'clock for when Paris was taking a walk and she heard the dog barking. That's 3 o'clock on a analog clock. Okay, let me go back through and show you. So 9 o'clock, just making it on my paper plate clock, looks like this. Who can find 9 o'clock
a.m.
that looks like this? It's one of these. If you pointed to 9 o'clock, it looks like this.
9 o'clock a.m.
And that was in the morning when she washed her face. Okay? So now I'm going to turn it to 11 o'clock from when she made her lunch in the microwave. Here's 11 o'clock. Let's see if we can find that clock down here. Which one looks like 11 o'clock? We can make it bigger too, so you can see it. Which one looks like that? If you pointed here, you are correct.
11 o'clock a.m.
That's right, and that was in the morning. She wanted her lunch in the morning. Sometimes people eat lunch in the morning.
11 o'clock a.m.
All right, let's do 2 more. So, I'm going to pull this down so we can see it. Here we go. At 7 o'clock, which looks like this. There's 7 o'clock on my clock. She listens to sounds in the morning. 7 o'clock a.m. Who can find the clock that looks like this? Point to it. You pointed here, you are correct.
7 o'clock a.m.
Yes, and then she heard her mom knocking on the door at 8:30 a.m. So let's find it on the, let's make it a little bigger so we can see it. And then we will find it. Oops. Okay. I'm going to make it on my clock for you. Here we go. And 8:30 is when it's pointing at, 30 means it's pointing at the 6. There's 8:30. Okay? You can find this. That means 8:30, right there.